Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, this is from 2011, from Tampa Bay Times. Lawsuit claims Church of Scientology violated child labor and wage laws. The headquarters for the Church of Scientology International in Los Angeles is where Montalvo left with church defectors. I think the protesters have been by that building, haven't they? By Thomas C. Tobin, Time Staff. Published March 5th, 2011. A runaway from the Church of Scientology's restrictive religious order, the Sea Org, fake religion, by the way. I mean, just let it go already. Alleges in 2 lawsuits filed Friday that the church violated California laws regulating child labor, wages, and school attendance. Which, by the way, they're still breaking all of these. Daniel Montalvo, who turns 20 today, also contends his parents, who remain in the Sea Org, neglected him and breached their duty to protect him from harm by ceding his care to the church. That's exactly what all of the Scientology parents that sign their children over to Sea Org, all of them are doing that. Okay. David Montalvo, who turns 20 today, also contends his parents, who remain in the Sea Org, neglected him. And breached their duty to protect him from harm by ceding his care to the church. Church spokesman Tommy Davis, I guess that's the new Rinder, said Friday night the church had not been served with the suits and could not comment on them. He noted Montalvo took Church of Scientology property. They always do this. Computer hard drives, which is so scared of Scientology. When he left, valued at tens of thousands of dollars. Then, with the help of church defectors, Montalvo moved them across state lines. What is that called when you are actually framing people and committing crimes by trying to make, like, for example, when they say he's stealing and it's a lie? Isn't that a crime as well? Born in Ecuador, Montalvo moved with his parents. Of course he was born in Ecuador. With his parents to the church's spiritual headquarters in Clearwater when he was 5. He stayed there until age 15 when he was transferred to Los Angeles, where he worked at church facilities until leaving last September. LAPD is all about that, and so are the city commissioners and everyone else. The lawsuits filed in state court in LA include allegations that Montalvo was permitted to attend school about 1 day a week because working for Sea Org took priority. That's illegal, by the way. Spent his childhood working at least 40 hours a week. Also illegal, by the way. And often more than 100 hours a week. Illegal. For pay that ranged from $35 to $50 a week. Had no work permits required of minors. More crimes. Was made to work back-to-back 12-hour days in the fall of 2007 when the church was pushing its staff to produce and sell a new book release. From 2008 to 2010, he was punished along with other workers for lack of production. He was made to run laps wearing a jacket and tie, clean grease traps, and do push-ups. Worked past midnight for 2 months in 2009 after rising at 6 a.m. each day, and was made to do push-ups and dig ditches for lack of production. Just like the military. Isn't that great? Suffered an accident. I told you guys there'd be more. They're coming out now. Suffered an accident at age 16 while cleaning a notching machine at the church's printing unit, Bridge Publications. Half of his right index finger was cut off. Oh, I covered this one before. And no ambulance was called. How about that, LAPD? LA City Commissioner? The lawsuit asserts. It says Montalvo was taken to the hospital, but told by the Sea Org to tell doctors he was a volunteer. He was not to mention Scientology. Not like the doctors don't know in LA, right? I can't wait until the entire medical establishment starts turning on Scientology. They're going to start telling their stories. The doctors, the nurses, not confidential information, just basic general information. According to one of the two lawsuits, Montalvo's parents effectively abandoned him. Doesn't Serge Delmar talk about these things? And his caretakers in the church failed to adequately educate him or provide sufficient care, including medical treatment. Intentionally deprived of the basic skills needed to permit him to become a functioning adult member of society. That's just what they plan in mind control. Daniel now comes before the court, a 19-year-old man with an 8th grade education, without assets, just like they like them, without a resume, despite having labored for hundreds of hours per week over the last 5 years. The lawsuit states, every adult in Daniel's childhood failed him. Facts. Every adult in Daniel's childhood failed him, Rinder. Montalvo also has filed a wage and hour claim with the State Division of Labor Standards, seeking more than $150,000 in back wages for the 3 years 2007 to 2010. He worked for Bridge Publications. Davis called the claim absurd. Other Sea Org members have taken the church to court in recent years making similar claims, but Montalvo's case differs in that it involves laws protecting children. And his lawyer, S. Christopher Kit Winter. In one notable case, Claire and Mark Headley, they lost, by the way, of California, sued in federal court contending they were victims of forced labor. No mention of the children, of course. Isn't that convenient? Claire Headley's suit also alleged she was pressured to have 2 abortions to remain in good standing. The church denied all claims and said Headley's abortions were her decision. See, they always do that. A federal judge dismissed the Headley suits last year, citing in part, a ministerial exception. See, let's keep that in mind. They always use that. So if you're in a religion, you can make women, force them to get abortions, use child labor, sexually abuse children, exploit children, physically abuse children, neglect children, as long as it's in the ministerial exception. Like just how the priests in Catholicism are the little boys. That generally prevents courts from prying into the affairs of any church. Well, that's changing. When there's crimes committed, Lottie-Dottie and everybody, it's got to change. Just because it's a religion does not give them free rein to commit all kinds of crimes, especially on children. But Winter argued that Montalvo would not be considered a church minister because he never conducted Scientology's core religious practices of auditing. That's what you say. And had little formal religious training in the church. That's what you say. Even if he were to be deemed a minister, that does not excuse you from having to attend school, Winter said. Facts. I sometimes wish William Good would get a hold of some of this stuff. Just because he has so much knowledge. Or connect us to people that do. There is nothing in the case law that says the ministerial exception overrides child labor laws. Facts. And compulsory school attendance laws. Facts. He also addressed remarks by the judge in the Headley case, who stated that the Headleys knew what this is good, what they were getting into when they joined the Sea Org. Well, Claire was a child I think they were both children. So they were all children when they got in, I believe, and could have left at any time. Winter noted Montalvo was 5. Yeah, it's different. When his parents entered the Sea Org with him, in tow, and he could not have been expected to leave the group on his own. The lawsuits seek unspecified damages. Were they part of the families in that celebrity center? Inquiring minds want to know. The Headleys are appealing. I have no respect for the Headleys because they didn't bring any of the child labor into it. It's disgusting. Their allegations and those of Montalvo echo the claims of former church members who recently disclosed that they have been interviewed at length by FBI agents specializing in human trafficking. The FBI has said it will not confirm or deny whether an investigation is taking place. They're so helpful, aren't they? Asked Friday whether Montalvo had been interviewed by the FBI, Winter would not comment. Montalvo ran away from the Sea Org on September 24, 2010, aided by former executives of the church whose accounts of abuse in the Sea Org were published by the St. Petersburg Times in 2009. Two defectors picked him up in a car near a church headquarters building on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. Oh, so it's some ex-Scientologist. He flew to Florida and moved into the Palm Harbor home of former Sea Org executive Tom DeVocht. I don't even know about this dude. I have not heard anything good about him. Whom Montalvo had known as a child when his father worked for DeVocht at church facilities in Clearwater. The plan was for Montalvo to work for DeVocht, but Montalvo's parents intervened by phone from California, DeVocht said, as did an aunt who lives in Clearwater and also is a Scientologist. See, these people need to be held accountable for what they're doing. After conversations with church lawyer Kendrick Moxon, this should be great, Montalvo agreed to return to L.A. Oh, is Moxon a handler too? Moxon is a handler. Wow. Given what happened to Moxon's daughter, you would think he would care more about children. Montalvo agreed to return to L.A. Church staffer met Montalvo at the airport, his suit says, and took him to church attorneys who questioned him about 5 missing church hard drives. Oh, they're so scared, aren't they? What are you guys so scared about, Scientology? What you so scared about? Ooh. All those video drives of the children getting essayed. Are you afraid people are going to see it? He then was taken to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Oh, that should be great. Isn't that where Sir Crepitus worked? Interesting. Montalvo was arrested on grand theft charges in connection with the hard drives. Oh, isn't that great, you guys? Child runs away, getting abused, being trafficked, labor trafficked, exploited. You never know. Maybe there was more going on. Perhaps he was SA'd as well. And you know what happens? He runs away and he gets arrested. It's a setup. Which Winter says were returned within days and briefly jailed until he should have made a copy. That's what I'd have done. And give an F. That's what they're afraid of. They don't want people knowing what they're doing. Until bailed out by former church members. You know, the ones with no names. He has not been charged. One of the lawsuits filed Friday accuses Moxon of false imprisonment. Doesn't that false imprisonment, doesn't that constitute as a reason a lawyer would be disbarred when you falsely imprison a child? I would think that would, what is it called? Like throw you out of the, you're debarred. What is it called when the lawyers get kicked out? For luring Montalvo back to L.A. with deceptive statements. Montalvo looks like a weasel anyways. I mean, not Montalvo. I mean, Moxon. Montalvo has been living since then on a secluded 12-acre estate in Malibu, owned by actor Jason Begay. Jason Begay is real people. Jason Begay is one of the only ex-Scientologists, one of the only ones to talk out about the abuse of the children. One of the only ones. A former Scientologist who told the Times on Friday, "I thought that he would need to have a little space and have a safe environment." That's cool, see? Okay, I will leave the link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. The writer is Thomas C. Tobin.